After the battle at the resistance base, the team had no time to mourn their losses. The activation of the first obelisk had given humanity a small victory, but it had also drawn more attention from the Arcturians. The new set of coordinates pointed to a remote desert in what used to be the Middle East, an ancient battlefield, long buried beneath the sands. Commander Reynolds gathered the team. This next obelisk might be our best chance at creating a defensive grid. We leave in 2 hours. Gear up. Dr. Markov hesitated, her face pale. Reynolds, every activation risks awakening the full system. We don't know what these obelisks are truly capable of. Reynolds glanced at the exhausted team. And if we do nothing, the Arcturians wipe us out anyway. We don't have a choice. Captain Rhea stepped forward. If this thing can help us, we'll make it work. Let's move out. With that, the team boarded a stealth transport, setting course for the barren desert. Each of them carried the weight of knowing that this mission might be their last. The desert was a harsh, unforgiving wasteland. The team arrived under the cover of night, the moon casting an eerie glow over the endless dunes. In the distance, the obelisk jutted out of the sand like a jagged tooth, its ancient carvings barely visible in the moonlight. Dr. Markov examined the structure. This one looks older, more worn than the last. The energy readings are faint, but it's still active, barely. Reynolds turned to the team. We'll set up a perimeter. Markov, get to work on activating it. Lila, Rhea, stay sharp. If the Arcturians show up, we'll need to hold them off again. As Markov began interfacing with the obelisk, the ground beneath them rumbled. Faint whispers filled the air, ancient voices that none of them could understand. Private Lila shivered. I don't like this. It feels alive. Captain Rhea scanned the horizon. Stay focused. Whatever this thing is, we're not leaving without activating it. Suddenly, the sand shifted, revealing a network of underground tunnels leading toward the obelisk. The whispers grew louder, almost as if inviting them inside. Unable to ignore the pull of the tunnels, Reynolds led a small team underground while Markov continued her work above. The tunnels were dark and humid, the air thick with an energy that made their skin crawl. Lila's flashlight caught glimpses of carvings on the walls, scenes of battles between humans and towering alien figures, eerily similar to the Arcturians. But there was something else, another figure, shrouded in light, standing between the humans and the invaders. These carvings, they're a history of this war, Lila murmured. It's happened before. Reynolds studied the carvings, his jaw tightening. Then why didn't humanity, when the first time? Before anyone could answer, the ground trembled again. A deep, guttural roar echoed through the tunnels, followed by the sound of something massive moving. The team raised their weapons, their breaths shallow. We're not alone down here, Reynolds whispered. Back at the surface, Markov activated the obelisk using the glowing sphere. The structure hummed to life, its runes lighting up with a golden glow. But instead of emitting a defensive pulse, the obelisk began projecting a massive hologram into the sky, a map of Earth, with dozens of glowing points marking other obelisks. Markov's eyes widened. This isn't a weapon, it's a signal. It's calling something. Before she could deactivate it, an Arcturian dropship appeared on the horizon, flanked by a squadron of fighter drones. The resistance fighters opened fire, but they were heavily outnumbered. Underground, the team encountered the source of the roar. A massive, biomechanical creature emerged from the shadows, its body a fusion of ancient technology and organic material. Its glowing eyes locked onto them, and a voice resonated in their minds. You dare awaken the Sentinels? Reynolds stepped forward, his weapon raised. We're fighting the same enemy. If you're here to protect the obelisks, we need your help. The creature tilted its head, studying him. You do not understand what you are awakening. These obelisks are not meant for war, they are meant for balance. Use them recklessly, and you will bring ruin to your world. Before Reynolds could respond, a distant explosion shook the tunnels. The Arcturians had begun their assault above ground. With time running out, Reynolds made a desperate plea. If we fall, this world falls. Help us, or there won't be anything left to protect. The Sentinel growled, its voice a mix of anger and sorrow. Very well. But know this. The obelisks are a double-edged sword. You will not control their power without consequences. The creature charged toward the surface, its massive frame shaking the tunnels. When it emerged, it unleashed a devastating energy wave, wiping out an entire wave of Arcturian forces in one strike. The resistance fighters cheered, but Markov shouted over the chaos. The obelisk is destabilizing. If we don't shut it down, it'll destroy everything within a 100-mile radius. Reynolds called out to the Sentinel. Can you stabilize it? The creature nodded, its body glowing as it interfaced with the obelisk. I can contain it, but you must leave now. The Arcturians will return in greater numbers. Reluctantly, the team retreated to their transport, watching as the Sentinel channeled its energy into the obelisk. The Arcturian forces fell back, regrouping for another assault. On board the transport, the team reviewed the holographic map projected by the obelisk. Dr. Markov pointed to one of the glowing points. This one, it's in Antarctica. If the obelisks are connected, the key to controlling them might be there. Reynolds nodded grimly. Then, that's our next target. But if the Sentinel is right, we're playing with fire. We'll need to figure out how to control these things before they destroy us. As the transport ascended, the team watched the desert fade into the distance. In the cockpit, Captain Rias stared at the darkening horizon. The Arcturians aren't going to stop. And now, we've got the obelisks drawing even more attention. Reynolds looked at his team, their faces lined with exhaustion and determination. We're in this till the end. If these obelisks can give us a fighting chance, then we'll take it, no matter the cost. Far below, the Sentinels stood guard over the obelisk, its glowing form a beacon in the night. But even as it protected the structure, the whispers of the ancient system grew louder, promising that the battle for Earth was only the beginning.